Welcome to the Pit Crew. I'm Camille, you're attending, and I have my residents with me.
I'm Mal.
And I'm Robert.
Robert, would you like to present today's patient to us?
Yes, I would. Today's patient presents with a curable case of waiting in line for a water park ride while watching this episode next to children.
He texted me that he was watching this episode because I was like, oh man, you're going to get to episode 8 and it's a doozy. And then he was like, oh yeah, I watched it while I was waiting in line at the water park. And I was like, surrounded by children?
Yep.
Great time to watch the child drowning.
Listen, nobody, as far as I know, drowned at that water park that day.
I'm
good.
That's the dream. This episode of the Pit cannot say the same.
Listen, when you go to, because I went to Colorado for a day to film something, and I was like, I'll just go to the water park. Sure, why not? It was a water park. It was definitely a water park. It was the most water park of all time. Did anyone drown at some point since its opening? Probably. Who knows? Not me.
Do you guys see the footage of that ride in Saudi Arabia? The swinging ride that like breaks.
Oh, that one.
The
yes,
pendulum ride.
See.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. Nobody died, thank God. But oh my God, that was terrifying.
Oh yeah, because it looked really bad the way it like snapped back and hit the pole. Yeah, no, it looked bad.
Okay, so we haven't recorded together in 2 weeks now, and something has happened to me that I have to share on the podcast. I got to have my own pit experience.
Woo!
I had to go to the emergency room in the middle of the night.
How was Dr. Abbott? Did you give him Robert's love?
We love you.
Did you tell him all about the terrible, terrible things that Robert do to him?
I wish Dr. Abbott had been there. Okay, so what happened was I went to bed, and everybody knows I've got 2 cats and I have 2 foster cats, okay? So I went to bed, and then at about 2:45 in the morning, my cat, Mia, woke me up, which is very typical for her. She'll wake me up at some point, and then I kick her out of my room. And so I got up to go to the bathroom and then kick the cats out. And I took about 2 steps, and then I was like, oh, that hurt. Like very sharp pain in my foot. And I kept walking, and then I was like, oh, wait. And I looked down at my foot, and it was like blood just dripping out of my foot onto the ground. So I left like a crime scene trail of blood from my bedroom to the bathroom.
From the bedroom to the bathroom. So the blood drips down my foot.
Oh my God. So I left this grisly trail of blood through my apartment to the bathroom. And then I got to the bathroom, and I wasn't like, you would think that I'd have been like, oh, put pressure on it. Well, I sat on the edge of the toilet, and I was like, ew, I'm bleeding everywhere. This is going to be a bitch to clean up. I should make it stop. That's why I grabbed something and put it on my foot. And I had to sit there. So I realized I forgot to say what happened. I stepped on glass. My cat knocked a glass off of my bedside table, and it had shattered on the floor and didn't wake me up, so I didn't know. I stepped on it, and it was like a big, like when I say a big shard of glass, I mean it was like 2.5 to 3 inches long, and it was curved up, not down when I stepped on it. So that was fun.
So wear shoes all the time at Camille's house is the lesson to take away from that.
I have since cleaned up all the glass. I sat on the edge of the tub, and I was like, you know what? I really need to call my mom. But then I was like, oh my God, I don't even have my phone with me. My phone is in my bedroom. So I'm sitting there by myself trying not to pass out in the bathroom. The cats have never seen blood before, so they're all walking around like this. And I'm like, get out of the blood. And there's like little pockets of blood on the floor.
I don't know why that like tickled me the most. Like, my cats have never seen blood before. It's just such a sentence.
I mean, if you think about it, they haven't.
They've never killed an animal?
No.
And brought it to you as a gift?
Oh, no. They don't go outside ever, ever, ever.
Oh, okay.
They are not allowed outside.
My cat doesn't go outside either, but she did kill 2 mice that were in my house for some reason.
Well, because you have a rodent problem.
It was only the 2. It was a problem until she got them, and then they realized, oh, we can't fuck around here no more.
It was a problem till she solved it.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I need to call my mom. I can't call my mom. My phone is in my room. And then I had to like ask a Google Home. Like I just had to yell it and hope that one of them heard me somewhere in my apartment to tell me what time it was, because I didn't even know what time it was.
Oh my gosh.
Just imagine being your neighbor just hearing, hey, Google, what time is it? at like 2 a.m. or whatever. Hey, Google!
So finally, after like 15 minutes of sitting there trying not to pass out, because I have learned that my response to like trauma or an injury is like, number one, get super, super, super immediately nauseous. And number two, full body sweats and like I'm going to pass out. So I've learned that about myself.
Yeah, I get those too when I eat like a lot of steak.
That sounds like a better way to go. Bleeding out. You get the meat sweats.
Yeah, brother. Listen, I went to an all-you-can-eat meat place for like a birthday like 2-3 years ago. It was an experience. All I can meet. It was an experience, my guy.
I've been like twice. I've never left one of those places feeling good about myself or like I'm like
I don't think I've ever been to an all-you-can-eat meat place ever.
We'll find one this weekend. All you can eat.
All you can meat, baby. That's me with the 10-pound beef tube from Sam's Club.
Me with the 10-pound beef tube from Costco. I found it this past weekend. The highlight of my life.
Big things happening in all of our lives right now related to meat.
Big things of meat, yeah.
Okay, so finally I managed. I was like, okay, well, at this point, I'm not going to call my mom. I don't want to wake her up in the middle of the night just to be like, hey, by the way, I'm injured and I'm going to the hospital, but you don't need to come. I live like a mile from the ER. So finally, I like wrapped toilet paper around my foot and put on my slippers and put on some pants and hobbled really slowly out to my car. And I drove up to the ER, walked in, and they're just like watching me really slowly amble. And it's like a totally empty waiting room. And I finally get up there and she's like, okay, they'll come get you really quickly. And the nurse is already there. As I've like turned around, she's like, I'm behind you. And I'm like, damn it. So I turn around and she's like, what are you doing stepping on glass at 3 a.m? And I was like, I don't know.
It's my favorite nighttime hobby. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Crunch, crunch. So they put me in a wheelchair, wheel me back. The doctor comes in like really quickly as they're still taking my vitals. And he's like, hey, what's going on? And he pulls his gloves like out of the box on the wall.
Again, I don't know what's tickling me about like the way you're speaking today. Hey, what's going on?
Just no, he literally, it's 3 a.m. and this doctor's just like, hey, what's going on? And so he pulls gloves out of the box on the wall, but then he like drops them accidentally on the floor. And I started laughing because at this point, like, I'm just not well. Okay, so I started laughing and then I was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at you. And this man goes over to the computer and he starts like typing in the computer and he goes, that's okay, I'll have the last laugh when I stick a needle in your foot.
Oof.
Wow. Is that a threat, sir?
Are you threatening me?
So I got my first ever stitch. I had to get a stitch in my foot. It's actually still there. It's been 2 weeks and it's still there. They said it would come out within a week, but he said it was a, quote, very good stab. So they had to numb it, clean it, stitch it, and yeah.
See, I'm just impressed that you had the critical thinking skills to go to the ER at 3 a.m. Like, if I woke up in the middle of the night and stepped on something, I would probably hold something to my foot until it stopped bleeding or at least gushing, and then I would go back to bed, and I would probably wake up in a pool of my own blood.
I didn't want blood in my bed. I have a really expensive mattress. I'm not even lying. That was my thought process.
Okay, no, that's fair. Sleep is like my number one priority, so I would be like, well...
No, 100%. And then I had like 2 days off of work because I wasn't supposed to put weight on my foot. And trying to walk was a nightmare. That was so much fun for me. I had a great time. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Actually, though, like I will say, they did so much better than the PITT. They got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. Like I was admitted and discharged in less than 30 minutes. Nobody in chairs, baby. Well,
so the
speaking
PITT
of meat, hour 8 of the PITT. I don't know what that has to do with meat, but
I've got meat with this episode. Instead of I've got beef, let's just start saying it that way. I've got meat with this.
I feel like we should take all little phrases and just say them slightly
butcher
wrong.
Them. Just like Michael Scott.
Speaking of meat, butcher them. Yeah.
We're going to euthanize this place.
So, Camille, what are we naming this episode today?
So, we are rebranding 2 p.m. as kind of a weird vibe out there. Nobody here.
Almost. You're not quite there yet.
Kind of a weird vibe out here. We went through like 7 different potential titles, and this is the one that we landed on because it just seems to fit the best. Everything else is too depressing or too funny So
yeah, it's a weird episode because like there's so much really, really great stuff and there's so much just bummer stuff.
Yeah. This was the first episode that made me cry watching it.
Oh,
actually.
Me too. This is the only one that continues to make me cry every time.
So what I'm hearing is I'm a bitch for crying like 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sorry. Not sorry. So we're at hour 8 of the shift, which is where normal people get to like clock out and go home. Collins is having to pull herself together the best that she can after having a miscarriage while at work and then just like going back to work. And clearly this is a good enough reason for her to go home, but that's just not who she is. She wants to power through this. So she goes and grabs an ultrasound and goes into a room to check to make sure that she, what she thinks is happening. And her uterus is empty. And Robbie busts into the room again without like knocking or saying anything.
Can I ask, as someone who's not a hymen haver, can I ask a stupid, probably offensive question?
Go for it. This is a safe place.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to get canceled. So obviously, like Collins, as we saw in the last episode, like, she took her pants down and like her panties were like covered in blood. Did she like take them off and flush them, or is she like still rocking? Like, I don't know what happens. Because she didn't throw anything out into like the trash can thingy outside.
So that would, Mal, do you want to take this or you want me to? Your mouth is open.
That's a good question.
My assumption is like, when you get a really bad period and you're out in public, so you're just like, okay, so, well, like there are 2 options. One, she threw the underwear away. And in women's restrooms, there are little bins that are like bolted into the wall of the stall. And inside of the bin, it's got a lid on it. And inside of that is a little paper bag where you put sanitary items. So like tampon dispensers and things like that go there because you can't flush it. And then those little bags get pulled out and replaced by like cleaning staff. So she could have thrown it away in there, but she also could have like gone the route of cleaning up as best as she could and then like folding a ton of toilet paper.
Maybe this is wrong. I kind of thought when you put the stuff in the bag, you weren't supposed to just leave it in there. I thought you were supposed to bring it out with you and then throw it away in the bathroom trash.
No, you're not supposed to do that. Because then nobody else has a bag to use.
But I've seen it where there's like multiple bags in there.
But that's the same thing as like when you're cleaning out the trash and you pull out the trash bag and there's a roll of trash bags at the bottom so that you don't have to carry around a roll of trash bags everywhere you go. It's for the cleaning staff so that it's there stocked and all they need to do is like unfold it and put it in place. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. I don't use period products that have to be thrown away. Menstrual cups for life. I don't know. That was just my assumption.
We're all learning things.
The more you know.
But yeah, so there are 2 options, is that she's like thrown away the underwear in the stall with her in the bag, or she's cleaned up as best she can. So like, again, this is going to be graphic in terms of periods, but grow up. They're like, anyone who has a period will tell you the most painful part is when you're like passing a clot and it's like a goop. And it is miserable.
Hey, friends, guess who's back? It's Louis, and he's drunk. Langdon and Santos are taking care of him. To get an idea of how much alcohol Louis took, Langdon over-exaggerates. He's like, did you have a gallon? I believe is what he says.
He over-exaggerates, like...
He says half a gallon, I think, and then...
Half a gallon. He's like, no, just a quart. And his logic, and it's pretty sound logic, is if you over-exaggerate, they will give you a closer estimation to what they actually took.
Mm-hmm. They'll, like, course correct you and give you a more honest answer than you would get just going in with nothing.
Yeah, because if you start with, like, my assumption is this really terrible amount, they're going to be like, no, it was much less than that.
Mm-hmm.
Louis, did you drink the entire liquor store? Nah, just a couple bottles.
Yeah, there you go. So Santos counts the Librium, and half of the pills are missing.
Let's live in the delusion right now that it's Louis. Hey, Louis, what'd you do with the pills? And Langdon tries to, be like, oh, well, you could have lost them. They might have been stolen. Hell, he might have sold them to buy the liquor. Mm-hmm. And obviously, what we know in the future, we're like, oh, Langdon, you are not slick at all. But at the time, I was like, yeah, this sounds feasible. It is kind of funny to an extent when Santos is like trying to shine the light in Louis' eyes, be like, Louis, what'd you take? And he's like, oh, come on. Calm down. I just lost the pills. They were in my pocket.
Yeah. He doesn't even give Louis the chance to answer the question. He interrupts with potential things that could have happened because he doesn't want her pressing into this. And it's so hard to look at in a retrospective. And then he asks Santos if she wants to guess the blood alcohol of Louis.
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun. And she's not having it. She is not going to even try to have fun when Langdon is involved. She's over it. He's kind of just like, this is his vibe. It's not like he's trying to save anything with her. He's just like, well, this is just how I work. So they continue to butt heads. So that's great. Robbie is asking about Collins with Dana. You know, hey, is she okay? Is something going on? Dana doesn't give him anything on that. She's pretty protective of it, keeps it to herself, and then gives him basically the lowdown of like what's going on. And he starts cracking jokes. So clearly he's having a fantastic day and he's not unstable at all. He's totally stable. He is so stable.
And then he turns around to everyone's worst fear, a priest. It's Father McGill. He's here to see the Bradleys.
Priests do appear a lot in horror movies. So like, I'm just saying there is an element of spookiness to a priest being there. It's like, are you here to exorcise a demon? Because that's freaky.
Or ooga booga. Yeah.
Listen, chanting in Latin just sounds fucking crazy, my guy.
The Catholics are, respect to the Catholics, but like, y'all are doing some very interesting things over there in your masses.
Santos comes back to Dana with concerns about meds. And Dana says that the lorazepam was ordered, dispensed, and returned. Dana talks about the PDS, which is basically just like a machine that dispenses medication. A lot of them are Omnicells. And as someone who worked in IT support for a hospital chain at one point, those things are a bitch to try to provide tech support for. Just saying. So Dana shows her how it works, and it's not suspicious. You know, she's just like a good teacher. She's helping her learn about how it works, blah, blah, blah. And then Santos gets pulled away to take care of an amputation, which sounds super, super serious. And then it's like just a dude's fingertip, which like, I get it, still an amputation, but it's like, bro, it's a fingertip.
Yeah, but he's not going to have a nail anymore. And that's 10% off of manicures.
Yeah, because he was getting so many of them. So Rita has returned. Thank God. Rita Kitajima has returned for her mom. She fell asleep in the car.
And I'm so glad that this was a good ending to this story, because we needed a win in this episode, because there's just, woo.
I guess if I was like super, super, super tired, I could fall asleep. But I don't think if you put me in her position that I would be able to fall asleep like that. Like, not that fast, not in a car, not sitting up, not on a train, a plane, whatever the fuck Dr. Seuss said. Like,
I don't want it here or there. I don't want it anywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, because I'm just thinking, like, I've heard people saying that, you know, you don't know tired until you're like a new parent having to get up with a baby all the time, and you're like 3 days, 3 hours of sleep, like across them. And like, that's why so many things happen with like shaken babies and stuff. Well, that's not why, but it is a reason that it can happen with somebody who is a good parent, because they are so tired.
Trigger warning, Mal defending shaken baby syndrome.
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm just thinking, like, there's a certain level of fatigue when you have to be a caretaker.
You become something completely unlike yourself.
And so I think it's like, it's a level of fatigue that like none of us have ever actually experienced. So I don't know that we can say like, I wouldn't do this in this situation. But like, I am also someone, like, I can't fall asleep on a plane. I can only fall asleep in a car if I have been like out in the sun all day.
I get it. And then of course we just have Mel is so thrilled that she's back. She's so relieved, which is great, because now we're like, it's interesting how over the past couple episodes, she has so tightly kept her emotions locked about this situation. And now that it's safe to just be like, oh, she's just so happy. She doesn't have to like worry about someone else's feelings. And she's just so genuinely feeling her emotion. And I love that. So we go back to our amputation patient. He got his finger caught under like an AC unit that he was installing or whatever. And they're like, oh, one shot's going to help with the pain. And my thought was like, I agree. I love Grey Goose. So they have to cut down the bone of his finger and then like stitch the top of it together, which is just crazy that they're just like trimming his bone like it's a fingernail. That's insane to me.
Well, I don't know how true it is, but did you ever hear the like playground talk in school that was like, oh, you could bite off your pinky finger as easily as you can bite a baby carrot?
Yes.
But, like, your brain won't let you.
Will stop you. Yeah.
Like your brain won't let you, and because it hurts. But I do wonder how true that is. Like,
don't get your fingers out of your mouth right now. I swear to God, both of you take your fingers out of your mouths. So Willie Alexander comes in. Langdon and Mohan take this patient. And my thought was like, Jesus Christ, Langdon handles every single person coming in the door. Like, he can't stop for 1 second.
Yeah, he's doing a lot.
He's constantly at that door.
One could say he's an adrenaline junkie.
Oh.
Oh
my God. He wants salmon for dinner? Adrenaline junkie. So his pulse is 30. Willie's pulse is 30. He has a pacemaker, but it's not capturing. And I really like in this scene that Langdon repeatedly calls Javati Dr. Javati, because remember, she's not a doctor.
Right.
She is not Dr. Javati. She's a med student. It feels very intentional on his part just to like instill confidence in her that she can do it. And I really liked it. He's also teaching Mohan a lot. He's really leading without Robbie having to like say or do much of anything at all. And then we learned that Willie is familiar with the hospital and with Doc Adamson. So we go back to our amputee. He seems to be taking a liking to Collins, and he's watching her the entire time. Personally, I'm just like, ew, please stop.
She's at work. She's also having one of the worst days of her life.
Like, I don't know if this is, like, meant to be endearing, or, like, to me as a woman, I'm just like, you're going through the worst day of your life, and, oh, also you have to deal with a man trying to flirt with you.
At work.
At work. That's horrible. I don't like it. We're just, like, bouncing back and forth, I swear to God. Willie's pacemaker is totally disconnected. So we find out later that it's because he's got something called twiddler syndrome, which I looked up, and it's actually a real thing. That's what they call it, is twiddler syndrome, when they're fidgeting with the pacemaker. Louis is, like, suggesting solutions, and Langdon is, like, responding like they're in conversation, and he's like, wait a second, like, what? And Willie, like, snoozes.
Yeah.
So we cut to Mel with Rita and Ginger. Finally, Kiara is doing some good. She's actually doing her job. Like, shade. I'm sorry, but she's actually doing something very helpful now.
It's deserved shade, because what's been the point of her up to this point?
Unfortunately, that's very true, because I loved her inclusion. And then the more we talk about it and the more I've like rewatched it, the more I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Anything?
Yeah.
It's really frustrating. They get information on the Area Agency on Aging, and I learned that and AAA are not the same thing, apparently.
AAA, like the auto?
Yeah, but I just thought it was like, for like, well, maybe I was thinking like AARP or something. But I was just like, AAA, Agency on Area, or Agency on Aging, whatever.
Area Agency on Aging.
So they provide
a new acronym. AAA is like, I hear AAA and I think cars. Like when Mel first said it, she was like, oh yeah, AAA has these resources. I was like, the car? Like, the one that you call when your car breaks down? What?
So they get some really incredible resources, and Rita starts crying, and Mel asks if she is okay. And she says, did I say something that upset you? And I personally am just really moved by the bravery and the vulnerability that it takes to ask that question. And she learns that no, she just like, Rita didn't expect all of this. And Mel feels really good about this. You can tell she's feeling very proud and very competent in that moment, you know?
You can also see in this conversation the way that Mel kind of struggles with the social cues, like in asking about that. And then also, I felt like there was a lot of times that she was also avoiding eye contact.
Yes, very much avoiding eye contact. And when she reaches to push the tissues, you think she's like reaching to touch her hand or something. And then she pushes tissues instead. And I'm like, oh, of course she would be pushing tissues. Of course she wouldn't be touching her hand. Like, I'm like projecting onto her as someone who would do that, you know? We are back with Louis. He wants to know what they're doing. So they're explaining everything, and he starts using medical terminology. And they say, "Are you a doctor?" And he says, "Am I a doctor?" That's a good one.
I will say it would be really, really funny. Like, I love where this goes. I think it is very important, but I do think it would be really, really funny if it had turned out that, like, this guy had just watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy or something and it just, like, adopted the...
Oh my God. So, okay, Garcia wants to borrow Santos, and this whole situation makes me so goddamn angry. Garcia wants help with basically distracting a surgery patient. And then we cut away immediately. Like, this episode is kind of hard to track, if I'm being honest. And you don't realize it until you write it down, and you're like, what the fuck? What is happening?
It feels almost like the show with this one is saying, okay, like, you've been here for 7 episodes now. Episode 8, like, we're just getting into it. We're going to have 37 things going on at all times, and you're going to get a real feel for the ER.
I like it, except for the fact that, like, as a host trying to explain it, I'm sitting here going,
Yes.
do I need to, like, restructure my entire episodes and, like, talk about one patient at a time instead of chronologically? Because it feels messy. But that's, you know what, listeners, you let us know. Do you want us to follow the sequence of the episode, like, tit for tat, or do you want us to lump more stuff together? Like, let us know. That would be really helpful for you as a listener to actually tell us whether or not you find it, like, easier to follow that way or this way. So just let us know. And we have heard from so many of you, and we love it. And I'm very bad at responding to emails, but we will respond to your emails, I promise. We are back with Finger Crush Guy. And I just wanted to, like, do you guys have any thoughts on the fact that he's, like, so invested in Collins for some reason, and, like, whether or not she's having a good day? Because it just bothers me.
It's kind of incel behavior. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's doing it to flirt. He's trying to be like, you know, hey mama, how you doing? And
hey girl, you'd be prettier if you smiled.
Yeah, like that kind of shit.
And, like, this guy, it doesn't even come across to me like creepy behavior. It just comes across as, like, mind your own goddamn business. He genuinely seems to be concerned about her, but I'm like, back off. Like, I would never, ever walk into, as someone who was just recently in the hospital experiencing something traumatic, I would never have looked at my doctor and been like, are you okay? Are you having a good day? You seem like you're having a hard day. You know, like, what the fuck? Ugh.
Also, like, you don't know her like that. Maybe she just is like that. Like, maybe...
What's that mean? That's like, you don't know her. You get a job. You don't know her. Get away from her.
Leave her alone. Get a job.
Get a job. Stay away from her. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
he does have a job, and that's the problem. His job made him lose a finger.
Workers' comp. Whoop, whoop. So Willie keeps it up with the medical jargon in the trauma bay, and then he says he just delivered the mail to the hospital. True, but also he delivered other packages too. Just saying. So Santos and Garcia come in. They ask for Javati. Santos calls her Crash again for the first time in a hot minute. It's kind of giving Mean Girls to me. Santos and Garcia are together, and now Santos is back on this mean girl bullshit, and I just don't like it. The vibes are rancid to me. We get the moment of Langdon asking if Mohan can do something, and then she's like, oh, I haven't even told Nandi that she's got, like, mercury poisoning. I haven't gone and told her. And he says, did you know that the average emergency medicine doctor gets pulled from task A to task B every 3 to 5 minutes? Yuck! I hate that. But also, like, I'm sure if you looked at my job, it would kind of be the same kind of a thing. But, like, lives aren't at stake. So in that context, I hate that.
That's the perfect job for the TikTok era, in which no one has any attention span anymore.
I mean, like, period. We have an incoming drowning victim. It interrupts Robbie trying to talk to Collins. This is Amber Phillips. She's 6 years old.
This is probably my least favorite patient of the show. Like,
yeah, this little girl's a bitch.
Just makes me so sad.
This
little girl sucks.
This is such a hard one to deal with. Poor Whitaker has to take over CPR again.
I know. I'm like, why do they keep making this boy do CPR?
They're like, look at the shrimp. Get over here. You need some muscles.
He's only a child himself.
He's 3 apples tall.
He's on a calorie deficient diet. Amber is only at 85 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's cold. That's cold. That's very cold.
Yeah, for anyone listening who's like in Celsius world, that are the average temperature in Fahrenheit is 98.6, so 85 is very, very, very cold. She needs to be 90 degrees to have any hope of being resuscitated.
To translate it for the Celsius users, 37 degrees Celsius. What is 85 Fahrenheit to Celsius? Right now, this girl's presenting with 29 degrees Celsius.
So, not great.
Woo!
Admittedly.
That's not great.
We have this patient who has come in with Santos and Garcia. She has Crohn's disease, and they think that she could have a perforated bowel. Crohn's disease is an inflammatory bowel disease, and it causes inflammation of your intestines, basically. So Santos says that they've ordered her morphine, and she says, "Did you even read my chart? I'm allergic to morphine." And Giovanni gives Santos the nastiest look here, and I love it. She's like, "I'm sorry, can you read?"
Santos doubles down. She's like, "Well, puking," because she's like, "Oh, if you give me morphine, I'll start puking." And it's like, well, puking is a side effect, not an allergy.
Mm-hmm.
No? Question mark.
But also, okay, if there's something that she tolerates better that could do the job, give her that. Like, I'm allergic to promethazine, which is used to treat allergic reactions and nausea, but I'm allergic to it. Like, there are other things you can try. It's the only thing that I'm allergic to, literally, that I know of, the only thing I'm allergic to. So I just, here's my problem in this situation with Santos. Shocker, Camille has a problem with Santos, is that I think that she's...
Stop the presses.
Wow! I think that she's letting Garcia's opinion of this patient cloud her judgment. She's not even met this patient yet, and she's already being a bitch to her.
Yeah, because Garcia was kind of a bitch about it, like saying, can help me distract this surgical patient.
And the vibes are just so bad. Like, if I had medical providers come into my room, and I'm in that much pain, and I'm begging for help, and they're acting like that, yeah, no wonder your patient satisfaction is shit. Just saying. I will say, in this moment, even Garcia looks pretty unimpressed with Santos. If you kind of rewind and just watch it, she doesn't look terribly happy about this. So this patient wants her doctor, Dr. Shamsi, and Giovanni just immediately hits a brick wall. She loses steam. And Santos is like, "Oh, but we have the next best thing. This is her daughter, Victoria." Rude as fuck. Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Rude as fuck, but also I kind of appreciate the clever, quick on her feet thinking like, "Oh, this patient's being kind of difficult and you want the specific doctor. Well, we can't get that specific doctor. Here's her daughter."
I think if it had worked, it would come across a little bit better, but this patient doesn't even seem to care. And so that makes it feel even worse.
I won't even give her the benefit of quick on her feet, because she specifically brought Giovanni in for this reason. So she's pre-planned this, even though it's only a couple minutes of planning. And that just makes me so angry. Ugh. So Robbie goes from Amber, the drowning patient, to the Bradleys. They are going to do the donation. The organ procurement organization is sending an ambulance to pick up Nick.
It does seem like the priest that they brought in helped talk them into it, because he, very specifically says that the church supports their decision, which I appreciate.
I think there's a lot of things that people rely on priests for, and part of that is validating their choices. I feel like if you thought a lot about that, you could go either way, and that oh, you need another person's validation to make a decision. Not quite. It's just that this is a person who is supposed to help you be able to connect with God and interpret text and things like that. And you need their input on, especially something this big.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible anything about organ donation, because when the Bible was written, that technology did not exist. And so, I don't know. I think it's helpful to have someone outside, because also thinking about Santos going around and kind of getting opinions from everyone on what do I do about this Langdon thing? I think as people, we naturally want outside opinions. We want someone to tell us that we're doing the right thing and that we're making the right choice. And so I think I don't know whether that comes from your coworker or your priest at church. Like,
can you? Okay, so like I'm like a very supportive of like people in their religion, but can you just? I struggle so much to understand why there are people in the world whose religion tells them that modern medicine is like bad and not okay. That's bonkers banana pants to me. Like no blood transfusions, no medical intervention. Like that's bonkers. Bro, that's crazy.
And I mean, obviously I don't feel this way. I have a very strange relationship with Christianity that we won't get into, but I just feel like there are some people who are like, my faith should be enough. Like, if I have enough faith in God, like, God's not going to let anything bad happen. But it's like, okay, if you read the Bible, God lets and does a lot of bad things. Like, God flooded the entire world and killed everyone except for one guy and his family. Like,
I'm of the mindset that like God literally gave someone a brilliant brain to figure out these medical interventions to save lives. And you're telling me that he didn't? Like, I don't understand. If that's not a God-given talent, what the fuck do you think it is?
It's interesting to me because every part of the Bible seems to point to, like, there are people who are, you know, on earth doing God's work because God is not doing it himself. And so how do you not look at a doctor?
We are the hands and feet of God.
Like, yeah, like if your faith is like, oh, God will protect me. Yeah, God can protect you through this doctor
medicine
who has done like years and years of school. Like, it's
thoughts and prayers and action.
Right.
Your thoughts and prayers are only as good as the action you take. God is literally sitting there going, and that's why I put you there, feeling passionately about this. Now you can do something. Anyway, Amber's little sister Bella comes in. Dana and Kiara take her away to get her to color.
Yeah, which is, you know, hey, we got to distract the kid to prepare for the worst.
Yeah. Grandma is sitting with Amber. They let her sit at the bedside and they immediately start explaining everything to her. Grandma explains that the girls climbed over the fence because their soccer ball went into the pool and Grandma was vacuuming, so she did not hear them.
But I think it's also, it kind of says that, like, you can do everything right. I mean, like, there very
can have a fence around the pool.
There was a gate around this pool. Like, the girls were not in the pool unattended. And, like, still something terrible can happen.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. And Grandma was doing everything right, but also she was like, hey, you know, I need to vacuum the carpet. And she did. And she thought she had that 5 minutes to do so. And she's like, okay. I would hate to be in this scenario and be like, well, I was vacuuming. Hey, it's been 5 minutes. Let me quickly check on the kids. Wait, fuck, where are the kids?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a horrible situation, but these girls seem at an age where it is appropriate for them to have time to play away from adults. Like, kids having time to play is very important. Like, that is how kids learn. And so, like, and they need to be able to do it without adults, like, constantly hovering. So, it's like, I don't think Grandma did anything wrong, like, having the girls playing outside where she thought they were safe. Like, she didn't have any reason to think that this would happen. And that just, devastating.
Specifically, the reason you would put a gate or a fence around your pool is to prevent children from getting into it while you are not constantly, like, staring at them. And I just, like, it makes me think about the fact that, like, when I vacuum, I put AirPods in on noise cancellation so I can listen to something. So many things could be happening around me that I'm just not hearing. We cut to Nandi. She's got mercury poisoning. And
as one does.
Yeah, casual. Mohan explains, I mean, imagine that story time on TikTok. Put your finger down if...
No, like, this influencer is about to have the wildest content.
Oh my God, yeah, for real.
Listen, considering the things that go viral on TikTok these days, I would not be surprised.
Falling in love with your psychiatrist? Jesus Christ.
That's like the big fucking thing on TikTok that's like, and every day is like a new chapter because this girl keeps talking about.
No, I haven't seen any of the original videos. I've just seen people talking about this.
Yeah. It's that and the fucking Lorax girl. That's all I've got.
And the people climbing out the window dressed as Hamilton.
Basically, Mohan goes through the entire treatment plan, and then Nandi says, and then I'll be back to normal. And Mohan says, I don't know. Are any of us normal? And honestly, This is so awkward.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly awkward.
But like, I'm like, just the wrong audience. Like, that's a joke for a child. I don't understand why.
I mean, she's 22. That's a child.
They be drinking. They be anyway.
I don't know. Have you met a 22-year-old? They're stupid.
I am related to one. Just kidding. He's 24.
24-year-olds are also
He's pretty
stupid
at 22. Yeah. Nandi is wearing a wig, or so she thought. She was wearing a wig, and she uses Mohan's phone to check herself, and she's horrified, which I just think is funny.
I look so bad. Yeah, girl, you're in the hospital with mercury poisoning.
But I'm also like, no, you don't. You're glowing.
I need to know where the fuck her wig is. Like, this is going to concern me.
Perhaps there's a wig just, like, loose on the highway.
Tumbleweeding down. So, Amber's parents come in. They're led in. Robbie prefaces to say that there are a lot of people in there working on her. Grandma and Dad go to see Bella. And there's so little music in this show that this tiny little bit that we get here just kind of like makes your gut heavy.
I didn't even notice there was music.
But it's so subtle that it just like makes you like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like you can tell already that this is not going to work out well. And it just sounds like ringing in your ears.
Do you think it would be better or worse to be in there?
Like in the room with...
As a mother?
Yeah.
Better.
Oh, 100%. Like, yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, it's sort of like, this is fucked up to say, but the immediate thing I thought of, like, oh, should you be in the room when they put down your pet? It's like, yeah, for comfort.
Yeah. And it's also, I don't even think about it in terms of like being the person who's surviving, but being the life that is ending. Like, even if, oh God forbid something happens to one of my cats, I will hold them through it till the very last moment, as long as I possibly can. They will be in my arms because there's no way in hell I'm letting them leave this world anywhere else. They are going to be in my arms because I promised to take care of them and comfort them, and that I promised they would always be safe with me. My cat has thunderstorm anxiety, and I'm always like, I get down on the floor with her and I say, you're safe and nothing can ever, ever, ever hurt you in my home. I will never let anything hurt you. And so I owe that to her to be there holding her when her time does come eventually, which I don't like to think about, but I will be there holding her. And I feel very passionately about my cats. And as someone who doesn't want kids, I feel like I can understand in a way a parent's love for a child, and just know that is your duty to be there, to be able to hold them through that last moment. You have to be there.
Oh, rough.
Yeah. But also just because I think that if you don't in the future, you will regret and feel like you abandoned them.
Yeah.
Or that you weren't there. And I would rather not have that regret of being like, my cat was there and her last thought was, my mom's not here. Hell no. Hell no. Her last thought is going to be like, oh, I feel safe here with my mom, you know?
As it should be.
Yeah. So now that I've ruined the vibes.
So to get less depressed, well, no, we're still talking about how, Amber's parents are here. Amber's mom freaks out and they're like, did you guys shock her? And it's like, no, we can't because she's asystole. That's not something we can shock. We're trying to warm her up, and they're like, okay, let's get some more blankets. And it's like, we are pumping her with warm IV fluids. This blanket she has on, I forget what the name, it's on a blanket, but it has essentially,
it's like heated pads.
It's like a heated pad. It's like a portable hot tub, if you want to think of it that way. And that one of the things that I like about psychology, I guess, is that when you present the facts of when you can literally show somebody, here's everything that's being done and what it will do to potentially help your loved one, you get a sense of calm almost right away. On a less depressing, like fun fact note, I like that this is also something that costuming departments use in like movies and TV. The first example off the top of my head is like Fiyero in the Wicked movie. They had that costume. Jonathan Bailey's costume is lined with tubing that had cold water pumping through it because the costume is so thick and he sweats so much that they literally lined it with tubing so that they could pump cold water through it to try to keep him as cool as they could.
I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah. So that's technology that they use in medicine and just in like for general comfort for people, which is, I think it's so cool.
I also respect, and this is just like what you kind of have to do as a doctor, but just how chill Robbie is when this woman is kind of
losing it,
implying that he can't do his job right.
Or like, do you know what you're doing? I'm her mom, so I know what we should be doing.
There's no, I'm taking it personally. He's just very understanding, and like, I appreciate that.
Like, here's the thing about not just, Dr. Robbie, but also all other like ER doctors and a lot of doctors in general. The worst day of your life, they experience like with 20 other patients who are also experiencing the worst day of their life, losing a loved one. They need to keep some sort of level head about it, or else they're just going to be in despair and unable to do their job.
There's a fine line between managing yourself and understanding that you might not be having the worst day of your life, but all these people are. And also, like, it's my job to keep it cool in here, Right. I am the cold water piping through the costume right now. I have to keep this as comfortable as possible. It's not going to solve the problem entirely, but I need to do what I can to mitigate this issue or this discomfort.
Right.
So Dr. Shamsi is on the phone, on speakerphone, with this patient with Crohn's disease, and she's calling Javadi honey again.
Hate that.
My note here just says yuck in all caps.
Please respect your children in a professional setting. Thank you very much.
And then after this, everyone just starts referring to her as Victoria, and it makes me so mad. Like, even Garcia keeps saying Victoria, and I'm like, all of you are pissing me off so bad right now. Garcia, they walk away. Garcia says that Santos can scrub in and help if it is a perforated bowel. Santos then brings up the issues with Langdon and the benzos, and Garcia does not take this well. She immediately puts Santos in her place and tells her to just do her job. And the quote is, "I insult the shit out of Langdon, but he's a great doctor." And it's like, to me, this vibe that I have applied to Garcia and Langdon is like med school rivals or like frenemies in med school. Like, for some reason, my brain is like, they totally went to med school together.
Right.
It's like we respect each other, but also we cannot stand each other, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and she's like, I've never seen him impaired. I'm like, yeah, you've never seen him impaired. Keyword.
Seen. But also, like, he's not quite. I struggle so much with the fact that I'm like, he's done a lot of things wrong, but he's also never been impaired. Like, there's a difference between, like, he's taking something to get high and he's taking something to treat withdrawal symptoms. Like, that's a really complicated situation right there. The vibe is quiet. It's strange because of the pediatric drowning. It is very quiet. Mohan has a scarf from Lost and Found for Nandi, and she notices a large crowd for Nick Bradley, and she's like, what happened to like
two visitors per patient? And they're like, well, he's doing, there's an honor walk. He's, an organ donor.
Mm-hmm. So McKay walks off, and she thinks that Myrna is dead.
Myrna, no, not today. And Myrna's like, oh, what the fuck? Can I not sleep here? Like, hello?
Tells her to fuck off. If you listen to it, I promise you, put your headphones in, turn the volume up, and just listen to Myrna go, fuck off. McKay now gets to meet Piper and Laura. Laura is Piper's boss.
This whole thing is so weird.
Yeah. Laura's an accountant, and Piper is her assistant. And so, of course, when Piper said, it burns when I pee, because you would say that to your boss, Laura's like, let me go to the emergency room with you and sit with you the entire time. Also, not a reason to go to the emergency room. That's an urgent care thing.
Yeah. You could not pay me to walk up to my boss and be like, hey, can I go to the doctor? It burns
when I pee.
It burns when I pee. You would have to kill me. You would not be able to pay me or threaten me enough.
100%. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So that's the real indicator that this situation is odd is because why does her boss even know?
Laura, her boss, just steamrolls the entire situation, and she answers questions for Piper, which is sending up all sorts of red flags, all different shades of red. And it's so eerie to me that Laura is pregnant. Because in media, we tend to see, or in society, we tend to see pregnant women as like maternal and safe. And she's so not. So it's just this immediate juxtaposition of like, of course, it makes it creepy because it's something you're supposed to see as like soft, and it's not. And McKay is just incredibly suspicious. With this Crohn's patient, extra delighted is not helping. Javadi starts asking further questions because she's got like a certain kind of feeling about this and it doesn't make any sense. So she starts asking questions. The patient runs through everything she ate, everything she did, and she says she might have got a splinter while she was moving firewood. And then Javadi finds a black widow spider in this woman's crock.
I can't believe the spider is still with her. Like, how did she not recognize that it was in her shoe that long?
I was always under the impression that black widow bites are fatal if not treated, and she's clearly not been treated. So I'm like, hello?
Well, but it hasn't been very long.
I also was under the assumption that black widow venom was not like instantaneous, but it would, it worked very fast.
Well, I would assume that going from her foot to her heart would take a while. About 30 minutes after the bite is when symptoms start.
And how long has it been since?
I don't know. Why don't you ask her?
Why don't you ask her? You're the PITT details.
So, like, I just want to say that if I've been bit by a black widow and I'm like, oh, I think I got a splinter, please don't tell me that it was a spider because I will die. Like, I'll have a heart attack and die. You could just let me believe it's a splinter and do what you need to do. I don't need to know.
Here, the problem with that is eventually a doctor will have to tell you, so you're here for a black widow bite. And you're like, wait, what?
There was a spider on my bedroom wall when I walked in a couple weeks ago and I didn't notice it. And then I set something down, looked up and screamed, which is not normal for me. I don't usually react like that. And then I had to text a neighbor and be like, I'm very sorry if you heard me scream. There was a spider.
But Camille, spiders are your friends. They're there to help catch flies and stuff like that.
No thanks. I have cats for that. So Javadi orders meds, and of course I'm sitting here going like, girl, you can't do that. You're a med student. You can't just order meds. It keeps coming up. It's like, wait a minute, you can't do that.
They keep breaking the rules at this hospital.
That's why the wait times are so long.
Here's what they're teaching at this teaching hospital. Break the rules.
Shamsi comes in, she's pissed with everybody, and so Javadi explains. Shabana Aziz has said in an interview, and she plays Javadi, she said in an interview once that, because she's Australian, remember, she's faking an accent, and she said that abdominal wall musculature was incredibly hard for her to say in her American accent. She was like, that was the line that I read, and I was like, are you kidding me? I noticed here that Shamsi's coat says E. Shamsi, MD, FACS, Professor of Surgery. And so I looked it up. FACS stands for Fellow of the American College of Surgeons, which basically just means like she's undergone vigorous training and evaluation to become a fellow. So super smart. Shamsi is still very suspicious of Javadi's diagnosis, but then like you can see this like subtle look of pride on her face. It's kind of one of those things I have to like rewind it and watch it a couple times to like get a gauge on like what I'm seeing because it's just so subtle and very good. We are back with Piper and McKay, and Piper has no phone.
Red flag number 2.
Red flag number like 4 or 5, to be quite honest. Like there's a lot of red flags.
The show came out in 2024, not having a phone at all. She's completely cut off from absolutely everybody. Like what? She have phone numbers written down? Like what? Where do you even save your phone numbers?
Does she hit up Pop's Diner and like goes use the payphone in the back?
Yeah, like big red flag. Double red flag. Do not enter the water. Laura basically just wants to be in and out. She doesn't want Piper out of her sight at all. We go back to Amber. Her temperature is up to 88 from 85. And Robbie already knows that this little girl's going to die. So Robbie is now incredulous about, he's like, I'm feeling sad. Who can I be mad at? And then he's incredulous about like Mohan and Nandi because they're making a TikTok.
Was this posted anywhere? Like, is there like a behind the scenes, like secret TikTok posted anywhere of this scene?
Oh my God, that would be amazing. I wish.
I hope so.
Dana defends her and says, you asked for better patient satisfaction scores. What do you want, man? So they start laughing about it. And then Princess introduces Eli Alexander, who is Willie's son. Willie needs a new pacemaker. We find out that Willie just got a new pacemaker. And Robbie asks what Willie did for a living. And Eli says that he worked for USPS for 40 years. Another totally random fun fact, USPS like doesn't fall under any branch of government. It's like its own thing. It's not under another department of government. Robbie presses a bit, and Eli says that Willie was a volunteer medic with the Freedom House Ambulance Service. This is where we get into like the really fascinating stuff of this episode.
So good.
So, the Freedom House Ambulance Service was a groundbreaking emergency medical service that operated in Pittsburgh's Hill District from 1967 to 1975. Founded by a civil rights organization and a hospital, it was the first U.S. ambulance service staffed by paramedics with medical training beyond first aid. The service aimed to address the needs of the African American community who often couldn't rely on police or fire departments in emergencies. I learned through my research that basically the only way you had to get to the hospital was in the back of a police paddy wagon, or a funeral home could drive you to a hospital.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
I started watching a documentary from WQED. I only got like 10 minutes in, but it was very good. And there were two things that like I found really interesting. There was a guy who said, you know, in the 60s, you had a better shot of surviving a gunshot wound in Vietnam than a car crash in Pittsburgh, just because like there was no medical service. And there was, I can't remember if it was the same guy or if it was a different guy. Someone else was saying, like talking about a time that his mom collapsed, and this was a black man, and he called the police, and they were like, no, we're not going to take her to the hospital. Like, she's probably just drunk. And he was like, my mom doesn't drink. But like, they still refused to take her. And like, you know, she ended up dying because, spoiler, she wasn't drunk. Like, I don't know, we're going to have to talk more about this because like, it's just, it's so interesting and so fascinating.
Well, I'll tell you why. So the reason Dr. Saffer was one of the ones who founded it. And part of the reason that he like put his heart and soul into it and really went like balls to the wall on this was because, and he gets a mention by name in this episode. Willie says Dr. Saffer. He was out at a medical conference out of town, and his daughter had an asthma attack. And because there was no ambulance service and like lay people weren't trained in CPR, which was not very good at the time, like he really like focused in on popularizing and like making CPR better and teaching people how to do it. But basically, his daughter died because she had an asthma attack and couldn't get to the hospital in time to save her. And so that's why he was like, okay, like this is ridiculous. We have to figure out a solution to this.
Right.
And so he partnered with the Freedom House, which was a civil rights organization. They partnered together and they founded the Freedom House Ambulance Service. And they did, again, this is something that Willie says later, but they did provide 300 hours of medical training for their paramedics and staff, which is incredible. I mean, literally nobody knew beyond basic first aid, like, oh, put a Band-Aid on it, you know? Like, that's what they did. That's what, quote unquote, an ambulance was. And I'm like, bro, this was, like, my mom was 8 years old by the time this was founded. That's crazy.
No, it's wild to think just how recent this really was.
You want to really get tripped up? Do you know what year the Chernobyl disaster was? Take a guess. Take a wild guess.
Oh, I don't know. 1950-something, I think? Or is it 1980-something?
I want to say 80-something, but now I'm like...
It was the late 80s.
Oh, late 80s, okay.
That was so goddamn recent. But we look back on it, and all the pictures are, like, black and white, and it's crazy. Somebody made a good point once, as they said that they're convinced that the reason that the photos that we see of, like, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. in books, the reason they're in black and white is to try to trick us into thinking it was further away than it actually is, because those photos are actually in color.
Right.
So, fun fact, yes, we have color photos of Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah. The Freedom House Ambulance Service was staffed entirely by African Americans. They set the standard for emergency care nationally and internationally. And again, yes, we will do an entire bonus episode on this because it's fascinating.
There's a fantastic book and documentary that I'm going to probably plop in the show notes if you want to look up some more about it before we cover it.
McKay brings her concerns about Piper to Robbie and Dana. She suspects trafficking, and Dana goes to help her. Princess doesn't know what the Freedom House was, and Willie explains that Dr. Saffer from PITT trained a bunch of medics on CPR and emergency medicine. He pioneered CPR after his daughter died from an asthma attack because she didn't get the emergency care that she needed en route to the hospital. And he decided that lay people should be able to help too in emergency situations. And while Willie is explaining the Freedom House ambulance service, Langdon notices that Willie has been messing with his pacemaker, and he diagnoses it as Twiddler syndrome, which, again, like I mentioned earlier, this is an actual thing. I Googled Twiddler syndrome and it came up. Like, it's a thing. That's what they call it, which is weird to me, but go off. I mean, like, weird as in interesting.
It's kind of yuck for me to be like touching something that's under my skin or something like that. I couldn't.
The fact that it's happened so much that they have a name for it, that's gross. That's nasty to me. I'm like, oh God, please. So McKay and Dana take Piper away under the guise of a CT scan. Laura is not happy about being separated.
Red flag number like 15.
15,000. Once they get them separated, they start asking questions to try to like dig into the story. And I'm like, this is a little bit off topic, but I'm really impressed by the way the actors move this gurney, like flipping the switches on it to then pull it to the side and all that kind of stuff. Because like I've seen videos of people like trying to learn how to push gurneys around, and they struggle so much. Like it's like, here's a new nurse trying to push a gurney and they're just like falling all over the place. So I was very impressed. Piper is zip tight. She has no concerns. She doesn't want to talk. Nothing's wrong. There's no luck. Everything's fine.
Yeah. And I mean, how can you help someone who has no concerns? Like,
but there's this delay every time she answers. You can tell that she's like evaluating the risks of being honest. We are back with Amber. She's at 91 degrees now. It's warm enough to shock her, but she's asystole, so they don't. A shock won't fix asystole. Asystole means that your heart has stopped generating electrical impulses. So you treat asystole with CPR, not with a shock. Mateo gets a call from the lab who says that her potassium is 12.2. I Googled a normal is 3.5 to 5.
And that no one's ever survived a cardiac arrest with a potassium level over 11. So unfortunately, Amber has died.
Yeah. And I tried looking into like the potassium levels and all of this, but I'm not going to lie, like it was incredibly technical, very medical, just like I'm sure it makes more sense to medical professionals. It was not easy for me to understand, and it was definitely not to a point that I could even try to begin to explain. What I can say is that I found out that it's not like a fact, but it's not something they can like prove, but in like a retrospective, they've been like, okay, like after hitting 6, the rate of mortality like severely increases. So, but basically the higher the potassium, the higher the mortality rate. And so Robbie then explains that no one has ever survived cardiac arrest with a potassium over 11 and that Amber has died. I appreciate the fact that it's in no uncertain terms. He does not mince words.
That's what I was about to say. It's very important for when this happens. You don't say like she's no longer with us or she passed away. Like no,
she has died.
She has died. Get straight to the point.
Then the scream.
That is the most realistic, the most gut-wrenching cry of the entire season. Incredible performance by this actress.
Excellent. Yes.
It's one of those moments where, like, yes, I believe that this father is sad, but comparing these two actors, they're not on the same caliber at all. Because, like, him, I'm like, I don't believe you, but, like, her...
Yeah, her, I'm like, is this your real kid? Like, is this your...
They're doing such like method acting that they literally killed this actress's kid.
No, I'm like, what did they say to this woman before they said action? God damn.
Cry or we'll make this happen in real life. I don't know.
She's just that.
Cry or I'll drop a scalpel in your foot. Shout out to Marcy Miller. Absolutely gut-wrenching, devastating.
Shout out to Marcy Miller. I'm sorry they killed your kid in real life.
Jesus.
Well, the actress for Amber, her name is Hadley Smith, so
great job sleeping, kid.
Her real child.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, great job sleeping, kid.
So many good sleeping kids.
Yeah, she's a little better than sleeping boy Tyler, who's like fighting for his life to be asleep. He's so cute.
Preparing for the eternal sleep.
Robbie offers a chance for Bella to see her sister before they stop CPR, and they decline. And like, honestly, good.
Yeah, no, I think that's for the best.
Mateo turns off the monitor because nobody wants to listen to it flatlining, which is also just good. The way they handle this situation, I'm just sitting here like, oh, good. Like, I don't have any qualms about anything. Like, I'm like, this is good. This is good care for everybody involved. They do a very good job.
They do a good job.
Taking care of everybody. I think this is one of those cases where the writers are like, there is no room for drama in the care of this child.
Right.
This just needs to be facts and feelings. We cut back to Piper. She has chlamydia. She says that she has a cheating ex-boyfriend back home, which is clearly not true. She's making it up on the spot.
Because you would notice the symptoms before then, wouldn't you? I don't really know how chlamydia works, but...
So Piper says that she uses condoms most of the time. She says she doesn't really have any sexual partners in the last few months. And so I'm sitting here going, but okay, now your answers are kind of conflicting with each other because you just said you haven't really had partners, but also you're saying you most of the time use condoms. So the whole story is just kind of messy. Dana tells her that it's important to use them all of the time. And Piper says, but if I catch anything, if I don't, I can just come here and you guys can give me a shot. And she's like, yeah, but that doesn't treat everything. That doesn't work every time, which is true.
Yeah.
Hopefully we all learned that in school. There are certain things that can't be cured. Piper looks like she's bracing herself for the next few questions, which are, is anyone forcing you to have sex, etc.? She says no. And they note that Laura, her boss, is her emergency contact, and also that they have the same address.
And that could be not weird. I could understand, you hired this new assistant. She doesn't have anywhere to go. Yeah, she can use your guest room. That's a normal thing that people do, but it's this on top of everything else. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Is it a normal thing that's a normal thing that could happen? Wait.
I would think that it would be okay and or normal if it were like, oh, we're related and I gave her a job.
Sure. Okay,
but they're not.
Okay, that's where it'd be normal. Yeah, sure. Okay.
And Piper just kind of pushes on. There's nothing weird about it. She's just helping her out, whatever. But I'm also like, but you don't have a phone.
Yeah.
And she's watching your every move.
I would love to know more about what exactly is going on here, but unfortunately we don't get that.
Does she have a bank account? Does she have
I doubt that.
There's a lot of stuff you I
think you could deal in cash.
Well, and because there's a lot of, when she's talking about what she does for Laura, she's like, oh, I make appointments and I take deposits to the bank.
If you were an accountant's assistant and you don't use Excel, I'm sorry. You're not
bullshit.
An
accountant's assistant.
It's have you ever used spreadsheets? Oh, she hasn't gotten around to teach me that yet. I'm like, bestie, you're supposed to know this.
You Google it.
Well, then you haven't been doing the correct job if she's really an accountant.
You're an assistant, not a receptionist. There's a difference.
Part of me wants to be like, is she an accountant? Wink, wink.
Yeah, that's literally, I was like, I'm an accountant.
What do you do? I'm an accountant. Where do you work? The place where accountants work.
So Mel and Collins come to see Bella, and Collins indicates to Kiara without words that Amber has not survived. Mel is talking to Bella, and she's trying to be very gentle about it. And then Bella says that Amber saved her. She explains that she fell into the pool and Amber helped her out and then couldn't get herself out.
And she's also making a card for her.
She's making her a card with a rainbow and hearts.
Yeah, so how are we going to explain to this kid that her sister's never getting that card?
I know.
Well, I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe you just tell her that her sister got it and just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They're going to have to tell her at some point the truth. I don't want to be there.
Well, yeah, her sister is dead, but also they'll be like, she got to see it before she died and she really loved it. Or just be like, yeah, she really loved it.
And also put this kid in therapy, please, because her knowing that Amber saved her and then she died, that's
would
gonna
fuck me up emotionally.
Yeah.
Robert, what fucked you up?
What fucked me up was the whole bear thing. Because, Bella finishes the card and Mel's like, oh, it's beautiful. And she's like, here's a bear. Because you can't see Amber yet. But here's the way we're getting around it. This bear is for both of you. Bella, listen, I understand that you're a 6-year-old girl. Why the fuck are you naming a bear? Get creative. Anyway, Bella names the bear. And now Bear is going to take any messages from Amber to Bella.
From Bella to Amber.
And now this bear is going to take any messages from Bella to Amber.
No, and the thing that always makes me cry, like without fail, is when she starts talking about like, oh, I love you, like get better, and I promise I won't take your toys, and like I'll be a good sister, and I'm just like,
Remember, kids, don't steal your siblings' toys, or else they'll die in a
They'll
pool.
die.
Yeah, because they might.
But like right before this, Mel like very abruptly gets up because remember, she doesn't come in with the teddy bear. She just like very abruptly gets up and leaves. And then she comes back.
Yeah.
Right. So, but in this situation, I literally like Mel's face while she's watching Bella is so devastating. And just like the way her nose starts to turn red and her eyes are really misty. And this, again, this is the first time I ever cried watching the show. I was sitting there and I literally, as it happened, I was sitting by myself watching and I went, oh no! And then I just started crying.
Well, and also Mel comes in and says like, oh, I have a sister too, and I don't like it when she's sick. So I think there is an element of like her thinking about her own sister here. And just, yeah. This is not the first time that I cried, but this is the one that always gets me on the rewatch every single time. And this time I was like, no, I'm ready for it. It's going to be sad. And I still cried.
I watched it. I was at work while I was just like watching it in the background. And I get that like lump in my throat right down at like the hollow of my throat. And then my whole neck starts hurting. Like not just my throat, my entire neck starts to hurt. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so fucking done. I'm done for. Between these scenes, we have Willie teaching everybody about the Freedom House ambulance service, and Langdon asks why he quit. And he's told he didn't quit. He got taken over by the city and a bunch of white men, basically. The city saw how successful it was, and they wanted to establish an ambulance service under their own umbrella. And so the Freedom House lost their funding. They lost their contract. Without funding, they had to close. The ambulance service didn't create the modern 911 system as Robbie says it did. I want to point out that it's very important, like verbiage here. 911 and paramedics and things like that, EMS, are separate entities. Like they came about at different times. They have different, so like 911, they answer the phone, they coordinate, they do all this kind of stuff. They're vitally important. However, EMS and 911 are not the same thing. And I don't want to conflate the two. Willie sings Doc Adamson's praises. He and Robbie basically share a mentor, which seems to be very therapeutic for Robbie in this moment to share this with somebody who finally like gets it.
Somebody who was also very deeply affected by Dr. Adamson and like his expertise and
his mentorship.
Yeah, like the way that he talked about how every time he was working on a patient, he felt like he could hear Doc Adamson talking to him, and Robbie was like, me too. Like, just...
They're sharing this moment together, and he's asking Dr. Robbie, like, oh, where's Doc Adamson? And Robbie has to tell him that, unfortunately, Dr. Adamson... He died during COVID. And while, Willie laments, and he's like, oh, shame, died too young. Mm-hmm. One of the things, and like, especially since he's very sort of like in the memories of like the past of his training, people with dementia or people with Alzheimer's have a very difficult time remembering current things, what happened. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really sad that it's going to be really sad that Willie probably is going to leave the hospital thinking that Doc Adamson is still alive.
You've actually made a very good point, is that like, he's like, oh, so young, so full of life. And I'm like, but he wasn't. I mean, he did live a good long life. He hadn't retired, but I mean, a lot of doctors practice until they're pretty old. But yeah, he's like, oh, he's so young, so full of life. And I that is an interesting, like, oh, right.
He's just probably imagining Doc Adamson, like, in his heyday.
Yeah.
Right. He's not A&O, like, fully, like, I think they call it A&O times 4. Aware and oriented, I think. Or alert and oriented. Oh my God. Everyone's listening to us going, no, we'll get there. I swear to God.
We're getting things wrong on purpose to rage bait you into replying to us in the comments or emailing us.
PittCrewPodcast@gmail.com.
Hey, a Sicily is the one you can shock, guys. They let Amber die for no reason. They're very bad at their job. If you think I'm wrong, you should write in to the PittCrewPodcast@gmail.com.
If Robert is wrong, rate us 5 stars.
I have seen so many medical dramas where they shock a Sicily and that person gets back up. Like, clearly they just hated Amber.
Fuck
They
these
said,
kids.
fuck this 6-year-old.
Fuck this 1 6-year-old.
Bitch.
No, they actually just needed Whitaker to be involved in the CPR of another patient that dies.
Whitaker's gonna walk in with gains next season. Can you imagine his traps, like, up to his ears? Like,
Hey, so for a sad moment, we're doing the honor walk.
yeah.
Way to kill the mood.
Thanks. Well, Whitaker still has a Spider-Man Band-Aid on his pinky.
That is true, he does.
A what Band-Aid? Who's on the Band-Aid?
Spider-Man?
Beloved listeners, if you remember who's on the Spider-Man, you should put that in the comments. Who's
on the Spider-Man?
Who's on the Band-Aid? Fuck off. Who's on the Band-Aid? It's not Spider-Man, it's someone else.
Is it?
It is.
I never
Put this as a poll on Spotify.
What's on the Band-Aid?
There's a correct answer.
Spider-Man, or the actual answer, The Flash.
Oh.
It's the Flat? Oh.
Oh. Oh, well, they're both in red costumes. They're basically the same.
They're both in red costumes? What?
Red costume.
They're both dressed up as big pieces of toast.
Don't tell Robert that Spider-Man and the Flash are the same. You will get murdered.
Exactly.
Robert just bought a Spider-Man poncho at the fair, so...
Oh yeah, I bought a Spider-Man poncho. That was fun.
Whitaker asked Dana how long she's been at the pit. And she says she's been there for 33 years. And he's like, all of them in the ER? And she's like, yeah, she just likes helping people. She doesn't want a medal. She'll settle for a raise. I love how realistic it is that multiple characters throughout this show are like, I'd settle for a raise. I want more money. Like, that's so real. That's so real. The Bradleys both hug Robbie. Nick is being transferred somewhere else for the organ harvesting. And Robbie says that a lot of the staff would like to attend Nick's funeral. And did anybody else find that weird?
If I die of an overdose and my parents invited most of the hospital staff to my funeral, it'd be like, my ghost would be like, what the fuck's happening? Who are these people?
It seems like a weird line to cross. Like, why do they want to go to his funeral?
Because, I mean, emotions. They needed an emotional ending for this episode.
I don't know. I'm like, I can understand, the ones who worked very closely with the Bradleys, like Robbie, but like it would be weird for Santos to show up, The thing that always gets me, though, is that it looks like his parents hadn't considered having to have a funeral for their son until Robbie says something. Like, they both, like, you can just tell that like it hits, and they both just have this emotional reaction before finally
like, bitch, can I grieve before I have to? Jesus.
Yeah.
Now you want me to drop thousands of dollars because the death industry is sucking us all? Wait. I don't know. I was trying to convey something and then that sentence got away from me. Bleeding us all dry.
There you go.
Oh my god, we have to keep it light. We have to keep it fruity. But yeah, I just thought it was weird. It seemed strange to me because it's like, that's a weird line to cross. And especially because like they're all trying to like survive working in this very devastating. And so I'm sitting here going, okay, Robbie, maybe this is why you're struggling so much, is you're getting way too attached. And now you want to go to this kid's funeral. Like, there's no reason. And I'm just like, you need therapy and someone needs to teach you to learn how to properly compartmentalize.
Well, because like, I think obviously I'm not a doctor, but I think my reaction in that moment to the parents being like, we're never going to see you again, I would say, respectfully, I hope not. Like, I hope I never see you in this ER again.
That's kind of the whole deal with like an ER. You don't really want to go there constantly.
Right.
Yeah, I never want to see the doctor who stitched my foot ever again. And he was great, but I never want to see him again. This crying from both of the Bradleys is, again, gut-wrenching. Like, but now the problem I have with like Amber's parents, right, with the Phillips, is that like I don't believe the father, but I believe the mother. Like, one of them is really selling it, and the other one I'm like, yeah, okay, it's acting. And then the two of like the Bradleys, though, the both of them, I'm very much like, ugh, I'm sold.
Oh yeah, those are great actors.
Yeah.
I wonder
they just look, and I wonder how much makeup goes into the like raw look.
Yeah, they look like they've had a hard day. I'm almost wondering, like, did you bring people in to audition for the Bradleys and then be like, hey, you guys, we don't want you to be the Bradleys. Like, do you want to come be the Phillips? Like, would you bring someone over from another audition? I don't really know how, like, auditioning for shows works.
Oh, they do that. But they do that in movies a lot. Is they'll be like, I know you auditioned for Superman, but how about Lex Luthor? A lot of folks that I have like read on like Reddit and stuff like that and online said basically that it was the Steelers blanket that really sent them over the edge in this scene. Someone has draped a Steelers blanket.
Suck.
Pittsburgh. Oh, well.
If you disagree with me.
If you disagree with Robert, leave us a 5-star review.
And if you think the Steelers are great, I have no idea. I don't know what team, I don't know what sport the Steelers play. I'm just going to keep that out of my brain. Do not tell me what they play.
Okay, I won't.
They play golf, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they steal golf balls. So a lot of folks basically said, it was the Steelers blanket that really sent them over the edge and pushed them into inconsolable sobbing at the end of this episode. And it's just silent as Nick is wheeled out. Nobody's really talking. There's not chatter going on. Everybody's being very respectful of the moment. Everybody's kind of like trying their best to comfort them. The Bradleys are, they both have their hands on Nick's bed. They're getting like gentle pats and quiet words. And it's just like, if there's a scene that you could describe as haunting, I think this is the scene for that.
Especially with how the next episode opens up and it's sort of like the ghost of Amber, quote unquote, like the ghost of that experience. So it's like ending in a haunting way with Nick's thing, and it opens the next episode in a haunting way with Amber's thing. And it's like hospitals are full of ghosts. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
this is the ending of this episode. And when I watched this with my mom was really emotional, and she, again, I guess it's good to get the context of like being a parent. My mom looked at me and she's like, this is what I'm scared of every single day. She was like, this is what I'm scared of happening every single day of my life. And I'm like, that's why I keep my cats inside. No chance. So yeah, a devastating episode, even though we laughed a lot. It's how we cope.
See, that's why I was like, the vibes are weird in here. Like, that's the perfect title, because the vibes are always going to be weird. Like, we're going to laugh about dumb stuff, and then we're also going to cry. And that's the beauty of consuming media.
Well, if that's all we've got, then so long, fellow losers. The Pit Crew podcast is created and produced by us, Robert, Mal, and Camille. It's edited by Robert. You can find us on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram at Pit Crew Podcast. If you'd like to support our other projects, our socials are linked in the show notes. Our art is by Rand Pacoka. He can be found on Instagram at Rand Pacoka. All patient questions and concerns can be emailed to pitcrewpodcast@gmail.com. And this isn't a Taco Bell, but we do appreciate a 5-star rating and a review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to schedule a follow-up appointment with a nurse before you go. See you next time.